this would not be bullish yet.
𝑘𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐴. Tell me what it means.
One line to rule them all. A trap to the downside, trap to the upside. Just trap after trap after trap. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Yeah. Just double Michael Jordan on Ethereum. Biggest candle ever in history for NASDAQ E-mini futures right there. Happened today. On Bitcoin, I'm on the 3-minute chart, but this area right here spread out over an hour was the largest 1-hour volume candle, and it was green since December 4th of last year. Also, during this move up or this rally up from this spike low, as you can see right here, when Bitcoin spiked like a madman, when the trading volume of NASDAQ gets above this blue line, which it's done twice over the last 15 days, crude oil had a nice breakout that was shot right back down. What does it mean?
Tell me what it means.
And why the hell is this happening? All in light of war drums happening globally. An invasion in Ukraine. What the hell? How can you make sense of this? Let's dive into the charts. Are you ready?
Hit the like button.
And subscribe.
Or else. Let's go! Most of you tuning in already know this. However, this is the master origin line, the one most important line out of all of Bitcoin history. Every time that Bitcoin comes down to the master origin line, you do have bounces around in the same trading channel around, which is what you see by these blue lines. If we zoomed in back here to 2015 very fast, you can see how Bitcoin specifically plays around these lines. This is the gray master origin line. All these lines are the trading channel within, and these lines get it right. This is 2015. Let's go back to the next time in 2018 and 2019 when it hit. Take a look again how nicely the origin line, the gray line, and all these blue lines really got the range nearly perfectly correctly. We're fast forwarding to coronavirus dump times, March 2020. Once again, enters this channel, hits the bottom, goes to the top, dances around the middle, hits the top, hits the origin line, which is the middle, gets above the origin line, uses that as support, and then blast off. Do you think current price is doing something similar? So back in January, what happened? This big crash fell exactly to the same line to which price fell. This is the same line as you saw back in 2015. Look, let's zoom way into this booger. Turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly and live straight to my face up to 8 times a week. Links to the Discord community within the description section of all my videos. And if you're not following me on Twitter, what the heck are you doing? Follow me, cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward, cosasverdes2. And if online communities are not your thing because you simply do not have the time to commit, hit the join button right below this video and options will pop up in a new video showing you how you can get exclusive content above and beyond what I offer on YouTube. Why is this line 10 years old and it's getting things exactly? I really don't know the answer to the question, but it works, so that's all that matters. It's off bottom line, went to the next blue line, based off this blue line, bounced off that blue line, went to that blue line, wicked above in a bull trap fake out before it crashed below, came back to the origin line exactly, went to the blue line, went to the origin line, higher low, higher low, higher low, hit the blue line, went back down to another blue line, based between this blue line and the origin line. Fast forward a month, similar situation going on, based off of it, failed past the origin line, went straight to this blue line, retested the origin line, came down to the next blue, came back up to this blue line. Like, these lines are the range. And this could have been a potential bear trap over here. Let me move my face. Bam. This could have been a bear trap. And because it went straight back up to the origin line. Again, this origin line is a 10 plus year old line. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Look at this. Un minuto charto. Look. Can you look any harder than this? Are you looking as hard as you can? That is zoomed in. We are at electron microscope, scanning microscope levels here on the 1 minute chart. Look at that master origin line. The reason I'm showing you this is because with the unpredictable nature of what stock and crypto is going to be experiencing right now with the Ukraine invasion going on, more important than guessing what will happen is to know what to look for. If X, then Y with a 90% certainty. If A, then B has 90% certainty. But in this moment, for bigger moves, it's probably not great to make longer term guesses. Rather, wait until a specific signal happens, even if it's not some indicator. It could be just structures and trend lines, which is what I feel that I'm going to use in this analysis. I want to show you what's going on, what to look out for, so you can know to flip bearish or flip bullish. Because right now, you shouldn't really necessarily be flipped either way. You should be flipped. This is freaking crazy. This is unpredictable. It's very volatile. Even though it's fun to pound our chest and say that could be a local low, which really it kind of looks like it in the stock market, which would probably lead to a local low on Bitcoin. But a lot of crazy stuff could happen. A trap to the downside, trap to the upside, another one back down. That could easily happen. And that happened for 2.5 months back in the summer of 2021. Just trap after trap after trap. Therefore, I'm going to give you key specific levels to look for so you can be nimble on your toes and roll with the punches as Bitcoin and Ukraine and Russia all throw it at us. Are you ready? In my Bitcoin analysis from Wednesday, February 23rd, I gave a specific way on how to set up your own origin line, the exact points in which to create it. And then you could just gauge on where to put these channels specifically and exactly parallel to this line. In general, if Bitcoin breaks below this bottom area, that's bad. But until then, what could easily be happening is there might be some form of range. Remember how I showed you in the past, it just goes to the bottom, comes back up, it hits all these blue lines. It could just keep ping-ponging, literally like an arcade game around the game. This could be just a game right now, and it could just keep hitting obstacles and bumpers, and you use the plunger to boom when you're playing a game. That could be exactly what happens. But until this level is broken, then there is not a strong probability of further downside, particularly with some fairly strong signals in the stock market indicating that this could very easily be a local low. It really is given those signatures. And if there weren't some war going on, I would be way more confident in saying that. But because there's a war, I think there's going to be a level of unpredictability going on here. Traditional signals might not work out, but these levels will specifically for Bitcoin increase the probabilities of further downside. If Bitcoin's origin line can be used as support, historically, that gets Bitcoin a nice ride up. So, in general terms, I would not be bullish on Bitcoin until you zoom into these small time frames and you see, and it could last days, Bitcoin doing some type of bouncing around on this, and it could be small bounces like this and then rocket, or you could have bigger bounces, like it could really ping pong around. It doesn't matter how high this goes, but you need to see a few, at least multiple strings of 1 hour, even 4 hour candles based upon here. Once that happens, I would then be bullish. And let me be very specific. What I'm about to say is super important. And again, I'm on the 15-minute time frame, so all this is only a day or two, right? It doesn't have to do this for weeks, but you want to see this on lower time frames. The key is, though, if you see it first come up here, I would not be bullish on that until you see multiple bounces on this line specifically. This would not be bullish yet. You want it to come back down and use it as support. Specifically, my analysis would be, I will not flip super bullish until, at least on the midterm time frames. I'm not saying back to all-time high super bullish. Until I see this specifically used as support. If it just flies up here, I'm not bullish in that moment. In fact, I might take on a short at that time in order to close it down lower, closer to the origin line specifically. And it would be something that I would play maybe for 4 to 10 hours. It's extremely important to know the difference. How high this oscillates up on the first or even second one probably isn't, that important, because I still wouldn't be bullish on that move because it's only used it as support once, because this isn't support. That would be flying past it, right? Just one retest on a shorter time frame isn't necessarily support. If after the second bounce, it were to come up here, on second bounce, I might start, even on the 15 or 1 hour chart, I might be a little bit more bullish. But the longer it can ride this line, the more and more bullish I would get, specifically proving this origin line at support. And right now, throughout the next several days, that origin line, if you were to make it horizontal, is somewhere around 39,777. 39,777. Pretty easy to remember. And Ethereum's got a pretty similar line going on that's not origin line based, but it's from its macro tilted range, which is a macro range ranging over a year. And I took that horizontal range and I tilted it because it actually works better. Ethereum has a one line to rule them all as well that you can focus on and simply see how lower time frames interact. Until that line that I'm getting ready to show you on Ethereum is used as resistance with price below and bumps its head on it, not just price going below it. That wouldn't make me bearish. It'd make me bearish when it goes below, comes back up, and hits its head. The exact opposite, but very similar, of what I just showed you on Bitcoin. It needs to use it as support first. Flying past it doesn't make me bullish. Okay, so on Ethereum, same idea. So you can see the beauty of this macro range here. Take my ugly face off here. That's the macro range. All of this is dating back over a year. This is early February of last year. It's now late February. It's over a year from that point to this point. Macro range. That's what I mean by macro range. I'm now going to zoom into the current price over here. Now I'm on the 15-minute time frame. If this line, even though it's ascending, I'll give you a rough level that could be horizontal. It's just 23.23. So Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan squared, or Michael Jordan times 2, is broken, I still am not bearish. It needs to be broken and used as resistance. And really, how price moves, it might only use it as resistance for a little bit. If something like this were to happen, it just goes kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Yeah, on lower time frames, even if it's within 1 4-hour candle, if I even saw small term time frames like the 15-minute using it as resistance, I would begin getting more and more bearish on that, and I would start getting bearish very quickly. And so it's double Michael Jordan right there, even though every day it's getting a little higher. So within about, let's say in 10 days, it's 23.26. So it's not quite horizontal. It is ascending with time, but roughly right now, just for the next week or so, just double Michael Jordan on Ethereum. As long as it's above double Michael Jordan, we are good to freaking go. I also had a Michael Jordan reference during my live chat earlier today when I was dealing with BPrep. I must have a man crush going on or something. I don't know. Maybe because Michael Jordan really was a ruthless winner. Not a sore loser, but he was ruthless and he worked his butt off to win, and he did not like to lose. That would be my line to the downside on when I got bearish. And because this next line up has already been used as support, but the next line still failed on Ethereum, this is the point of control. I would want to see the point of control used as support before I'm bullish. So you can see this lower line and that top line. Now that we're zoomed in, that line and the bottom line, even though this is the macro range, taking the macro range, the point of control, remember zooming out, we're dealing with this middle section to the quarter section. Right now, the middle section to the quarter section might be our more micro range. So typically taking on trades, depending on the time frame that you're on, but if we can make our guess that that is going to be our micro range on smaller time frames, daily and under, typically you don't want to take on trades in the middle of the range. Under most circumstances, it's pretty silly. You would either want this line to be hit or that line to be hit before you either start longing or buying altcoins or trying to take on shorts. The farther away, this line would be even better and that line would be even better, but sometimes when you get choppiness, only the inner lines will be hit. It looks like it's in the middle of the range right now, Ethereum. Therefore, what that could mean is entering trades even across altcoins, as ETH is the altcoin leader. It might be pretty challenging and you might be in a gambling mindset depending on your trading system. You have a trading system that doesn't use ranges, but rather it uses CMA crosses. You have your own system that can ignore this. Sure. But if you keep ranges in mind, which I do, my analysis is a hybrid between structural analysis and then my main indicators, EMAs, candlesticks, RSI, then stochastics, if I could put it in order. But since I'm a hybrid person and I see that in the middle, that would trump my signals that I might be getting on RSI, stochastics, all that jazz. I try to make a rule for myself. If I establish a range and this is the time frame that I want to be trading in, I don't touch it until it gets closer to one of the edges. Am I making sense? But Tim, there are exceptions to that. What if you have the middle of the range and price simply cannot get above it and it's bumping its head on it like this? Honestly, that is not a bad assessment. I mean, you could do that. That could be an easy exception. For Ethereum, we have double Michael Jordan and we have somewhere closer to 3270. To enter trades, it might be wiser to wait until the price of Ethereum is closer to 2,500 or closer to 3,000. That's 5% to the downside, which there's plenty of tradable action from here to, 5% could be a big move on different types of leverage. So if you're a really small term time frame trader, there is perhaps plenty of opportunity in that move. I don't want to dissuade people. In general rules, the time frames that I've personally chosen, the range that I've chosen to trade in, I wouldn't be allowed to really enter things quite yet based off of my trading decisions. Do you see what I'm saying here? Here's another very important thing to note. Bitcoin currently, this low on the daily, this daily low area, it did not close below this daily low back here. Price went below it on a wick and specifically not only got above it, but kept going up. Therefore, if you had another area to look for, you might draw a horizontal, but where does that match up with? The lines I already gave you. And until you can zoom into the lower time frames and see price go below it and bump its head on that line coming from below, that might be your time to then be bearish, but not be bearish until specifically that time. However, you might be thinking, but Tim, what do you think is going to happen with price? Well, let me show you. To better gauge how will the lower time frames bounce around here are the candlestick formations of Bitcoin. As of now, this current candlestick with that buyback is saying that tomorrow is not going to be very bearish. It could easily open up, backfill, which would be red at first, and then that converts into a green candle, and that would just be a green wick. This buyback is strongly indicating that tomorrow will be green, but we'll probably have a backfill on the daily first for the several first opening hours. Does that guarantee that tomorrow will be bullish? No. A lot of fake outs happen, a lot of unpredictability in the market. However, that would be my cue. So if I had to make a guess specifically on how Bitcoin will ping pong around these blue lines in this trading channel, I would personally guess that would be my main guess, because on the daily candle, I would assume that the whole day in general, assuming these 30-minute candles span roughly a day, which they actually do. Yeah, this would be a green candle, but this would indicate a backfill first, struggle to get above, maybe even skip the origin line, blast through it, and then use it as support. If I had to make one guess based off candlestick structures of the larger time frame to have a guesstimate of how it's going to interact, that would be my guess. Click this playlist right here if you're new to crypto and you want to learn how to set up a chart like mine, or just basic buying and selling strategies to be better at crypto. Even if you're just a hodler. Click this playlist right here if you want to have a better understanding of how and why price moves the way it does. If you're new to my channel, click the circle right here in the middle to subscribe. You just got 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐵. Worldwide. Peace.